Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Majid.
Oh, thank you so much for bearing with us. It's been very, also we have the president of NAAT here as well, Comrade Ibeji Nwokema.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
If I didn't pronounce your name very well, kindly pardon us. We will be corrected appropriately. We also have here the president of SSANU, Comrade Muhammed Ibrahim. Thank you so much for joining us. We had an issue with the first link we shared, so we apologize for that. My name is Majid Alabi. We will start. We are 10 minutes behind schedule, and we apologize for that. We are not known for running late schedule, but this is what it is. We are not in control of our technology. I know yesterday we had an issue when we launched. We were cautioned that this is already posted public and that we may have to reset the security. I think Zoom, on its own, decided to make some kind of a security decisions. So we apologize. Others are going to join us. I've also spoken this afternoon with the Director of Press at the Ministry of Education, who also pledged that they could not conclude whether they will be part of this. Maybe because of what we understand, but we also have the pledge that it is very possible that they are going to join us. So we are not going to wait for anybody further. Like I said, my name is Majid Alabi. I represent the Education Writers Association of Nigeria as their lead servants. We also have here co-members, and as you know, Education Writers Association of Nigeria is a body of journalists who report education in Nigeria. We are headquartered in Lagos, where roughly 90% of headquarters of media houses in Nigeria are located. You have here almost all not even almost, all media organizations represented here. And why did we feel that it is important for us to intervene at this time? We understand that the media, they say democracy dies when the media keeps mum. We waited in 2022, and unfortunately, we realized that the matter degenerated to the extent that our universities were shut down for as long as 8 months, where all the labor unions on the university campuses were away from their duty post for obvious reasons that are not far-fetched. And we feel that this time, can we fold our hands because the condition of our children is beyond repair? No, because we have a responsibility, not just to report what you tell us, but to also intervene at critical stages. And that is why we feel that it's important for us, and for you in particular, to relate with those who actually take decisions. When journalists from other platforms, from other media houses, who are whether in Abuja or Port Harcourt or wherever, when they report, they send it to the headquarters. And here you have the opportunity of relating directly with those who are the headquarters, the editors of different media houses, the desk heads of different education platforms, education desk in various media houses. They will be here to relate with you. I won't be able to recognize everybody here, but I can tell you that we have the SSANU president, Comrade Muhammed Ibrahim. We also have the president of NAAT, that is National Association of Academic Technologists. Thank you so much for joining us. We also have the National Vice President of SSANU here, Comrade Dr. Abdul Salam. Thank you so much for joining us. We know we don't have time. The time is fast spent. After this introduction, we are expecting that the Minister of Education will join us. This is the second time. If he doesn't make it, this will make the second time that the minister will not be able to be here. But we are not strange to that, because we believe that as journalists, we have a responsibility to the public, and we are going to report appropriately. Maybe the minister does not have information to give the public, and as a result of that, they may be afraid of showing face here. But we are not bothered, because we are accountable to the public, and we want to take the responsibility. We know that SSANU and NASU strike will be ending today by 12 midnight. Before it ends, we want to know where we are, what we have been able to get within the last 1 week, and if, when and how the NAAT, because NAAT actually started its own warning strike after the SSANU and NASU started. So we want to actually listen to them directly. I also have with me co-piloting this, Mrs. Elizabeth Osanyade, who is the chair of the planning committee of this. Mrs. Osanyade, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir, and good evening, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us. We wouldn't waste much of your time. Comrade Nwokema, you are here now. Thank you so much for joining us. Briefly, in just about 2 minutes, can you explain the rationale behind the ongoing warning strike that you declared or that your association declared? Thank you so much. You need to unmute yourself, sir. You are still muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
can you hear me now?
Very
All right,
clearly.
thank you very much. Thank you very much for this novel idea because you are living up to your responsibility of drawing attention of the public and the critical stakeholders to the happenings in the university and other tertiary institutions and all the happenings. Thank you very much. I must commend you for this noble act that you have just done. Well, in a nutshell, the crux of the matter is that I would want to say, I'm on a very sad note, that my own thinking now, the way things are going in Nigeria, is that there are some entrenched interests that do not want peace in the public universities. I say that because there are 4 trade unions in Nigerian universities: NAAT, ASU, SSANU, and NASU. In 2021, all these unions, for one reason or the other, embarked on a legitimate strike action. My union, I'll speak for my union, started from March in 2021, embarked on a legitimate strike action. Legitimate in the sense that that strike action was caused by inability of government to respond to critical issues raised by the unions. Issues that has to do with non-renegotiation of the 2009 agreement, issues that has to do with non-payment of end allowances, issues that has to do with non-release of our circular for countries 14 and 15 for our members, issues that has to do with payment of arrears of occupational hazard allowance, and so on and so forth. And before then, you also recall that my union had entered into MOU with federal government on several occasions in 2021, in 2020, in 2017, and it will interest you to know that out of all the MOUs entered into by our union, no government did not find it necessary or deem it necessary to implement the things that are contained in those MOUs. Shortly after signing of MOUs, it will just be kept for dust to feast on it. And so we embarked on that strike and then suspended that strike action in August 24th, on August 24th, 2021. And of course, you're also aware that the then Buhari administration said that they invoked the no work, no pay rule. And for 5.5 months, my members were not paid salaries for 5.5 months. Fast-tracked it to this year. Sometime late last year, we were informed that President President Tinubu had just graciously given a waiver for payment of 4 months salary arrears to all staff of federal of all staff of federal universities who took part in the strike action of 2021, for which their salaries are being held. And of course, we are happy, and then we also congratulate the government for doing that. Surprisingly, February this year, a union was singled out for payment. And we are saying, not just that we signed in the MOU we signed when we suspended the strike action, that we said there will be no victimization. We're even saying that if there's anybody to be victimized, it's not our union that graciously accepted to suspend the strike action. It should be those who only suspended law, the enforcement of the court of law. Unfortunately, today that we are talking, government has refused to pay our members the backlog of 5.5 months or even 4 months as approved by the president of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Just briefly, I know you had a meeting with the minister on Thursday, I think. How far so far?
Well, thanks for having me, Mojid, and other colleagues. Good evening to you all. This is laudable, and I think if all journalists will be seeing things from this perspective, we wouldn't have been where we are, because what I've realized in the last few weeks is that there's that dearth of information, because even within the purview of the press, a lot of people do not really understand how the university operates and what is obtainable there, because it got to a point when you go to speak, they believe that everybody in the university belongs to one single union. So with this development that you are bringing to the banner, I think it will go a long way in sensitizing and also making Nigerians understand that there are different stakeholders within the community called a university. Now, going to what you've asked, we did not just go to attend meeting with government just like that, but because there was an issue. And unlike my friend's submission, Honorable Nwokema, I don't know whether we went on strike in March 2022, not in 2021, and we suspended in August, same 2022. And also that was a product of negotiation that we have had, an agreement signed with the government of the day. The idea of the meeting we had with the ministry was their own invitation, because at the time when we needed them most, they did not even, bother. Because I remember that it got to a point when we got information that something was going to be done, and that which is not in tandem with civilization and reality, that is singling out, a particular section of the community in the university to give them preferential treatment. You are aware we have raised this severally, even before now, before the payment of the withheld salaries that was paid in February to our colleagues in the other arm. Even the payment of and allowances. There's always this evil and draconian sharing formula that has always played out when government gives out money, or when government pay money to workers in the university. Somebody somewhere who feel they will just do what they want to do will just sit down and go okay for them. And this we had fought, again, the culmination of it we saw in February this year, when the president's approval or directive was subverted by some people that we cannot be able to identify at this point. But I'm sure you journalists will be able to do, a better job by getting to know where it matters, where the problem is. Like Honorable Nwokema said, no member of our union was paid, but we saw our colleagues smiling back home with 4 months. And we did draw the attention of government. NASU and SANU did, before even the act was done, we did draw the attention of government. And when the malicious act was done, we also wrote to the Minister of Education, we wrote to the Chief of Staff, to the President, a protest letter, drawing the attention to this misnomer. As I'm talking to you, this is about, this is the 5th week. We have not received any official reply, despite the fact that those letters were submitted and acknowledged, by the offices of the Chief of Staff and the Minister of Education. So we have not received anything documented in terms of reply. So it was when we made, our threats, we gave 7 days, ultimatum that if you do not address this, we were going to down tools. We had a NEC meeting in Akure, and nobody said anything until when the die was cast. We went on strike on Monday. Today is the 7th day, actually. And what our relevant organ, or the organ that had the power to do that, was, gave us the mandate to declare a 7 days warning strike. And I want to use this opportunity to thank not only our members in NASU and SANU, but Nigerians generally, and the 4th estate of the realm, the press, for working with us very assiduously, very committedly, and very patriotically to, draw the attention of the world, to this very unfortunate incident that took place. Because I remember that I have had interviews with journalists from across, the world, VOA, BBC, Deutsche Welle, radio stations from South Africa, from Egypt, and the rest on this same matter. So clearly, this is no longer a local issue. This is something that we envisage will, dent the image of this country. And this is what we have been trying to avoid. But obviously, those in government probably do not think that this is anything that should give them any headache. So the meeting we had with the minister or ministers of education, the senior minister and the minister of state, with the PAMSEC and directors, was nothing outside their appeal to us, to suspend the strike, because, I think reports getting to them were disturbing, because the university was grounded to a halt. There was no electricity, there was no water, the security abdicated, the processing of results wasn't there. Not only that, also, mobilization for NYSC stopped. Exams were being written in so many universities. Most of these, they have to change the exams, ICT, CBT exams, and the rest. We have had unfortunate incidents also in some few universities, fire incidents and so on. So clearly what this strike showed is that the university cannot operate without the commonality of these 4 unions. Everybody is important. And the conceivers of what is called the university clearly knew what they wanted, clearly knew what they were after, when they said that there will be an administrator, there will be a technologist, there will be a teacher, there will be, other people who will do the work. The laws would have just said, okay, one person should do the work of everybody. And I don't know why people are becoming apprehensive, because unions said we are going on strike, and they're seeing it as something that is unpatriotic. Strikes are legal instruments of venting anger, raising voices, also making sure that people or those in power, accede to your own demands. We have seen strikes in France, in UK, in America, in Germany, in everywhere. We have seen strikes by tractor drivers who block roads in France. Everybody knows about this. Gates of universities were blocked in the UK because university workers have gone on strike. We have seen strikes in other climes. So there is nothing that is new, and nobody should try to stifle the voices of the masses, voices of comrades who have been subjugated, who have been denied of access to what they should naturally and by default, access in terms of rights and privileges.
Mr. President,
yes.
So just in 1 minute, after your meeting or during your meeting with the minister, what specific terms were actually agreed on? What do you think? Do you see light at the end of the tunnel?
I've always been an unrepentant optimist. I'm not a pessimist. So whenever you have engagements, definitely things are bound to change. And the reason why we are where we are is because of the nonchalance attitude displayed by government and government officials. That's why we had to even get to this level. If they had engaged us at the point we drew their attention, if they had done the right thing by righting the wrongs, we wouldn't have been where we are. So like I was saying, the meeting we had was just a meeting that brought us together, and they pleaded that we should suspend our strike that was legal. And they also understood that it was not impossible. I mean, it was not proper to, tell us that we cannot do this, and that they also agreed that the strikes were illegal. So the meeting did not come out with anything positive outside the optimism from government officials telling us that anything positive could be done. And if we took to the bank what they gave us as collateral, that something would have happened even that day or the following day. If we had suspended the strike, we would have been stoned today by our members. And we had always told them that. We insisted, I remember at the meeting, tell us, when will the payments be made? Nobody said anything, only that it will be done and it will be done. Yes, we are not unaware. We are also part of Nigeria. We know that things are being done, but it is at a very snail speed. And this is not how the other people were treated. I had to cite examples with our colleagues, but then the preferential treatment, the maltreatment also shown onto us is something that is worth complaining about. So nothing has been achieved at that meeting except the optimism that the government officers, officials, gave to our comrades that something will be done or something is being done. But as far as we are concerned, we have not seen the money, payments have not been made. Our strike is ending tonight, and that we will meet at the different organs to strategize and then come back to tell the world the next line of action.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. I have with me Elizabeth Ozayede. We also have other editors who are here. We have from AIT, from News Agency of Nigeria, those who are editors from New Telegraph, from different media houses. And I am happy that we also have other unionists who have joined us here. Thank you so much for joining this conversation. We will open the lines for others to actually raise some important issues, questions, and contributions. But let me ask Elizabeth Ozayede, if are there things that you want to ask the labor leaders who are here? Elizabeth.
Yes. Hello. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. You're welcome, Elizabeth.
Yes, sir. I'm really happy over your feedback towards the question our chairman has asked. My question is just to the SSANU chairman. You said it is a legal action that people are taking, but the concern is, are you considering the effect of this strike, continuous strike, on the life of the students? Thank you very much, sir.
Well, I'm not actually SSANU chairman, but a SSANU president, for the records. And yes, we are even more concerned than any other person. Workers in the universities are even more concerned, on the plight of these students, because we understand clearly why we are there. the students are the most important stakeholders in the university community. Without the students, there won't be vice chancellor, there won't be registrar, there won't be technologists, there won't be driver, there won't be, everybody wouldn't be there. And even if we get to find ourselves there, we may not satisfactorily do our jobs the way we should. So we clearly understand that. And I have also severally said that some of us are also parents. We have our kids, in such institutions. So we feel the pain even more because ours is a double-edged thing. You leave your home, we leave your child there, you go to the work, to the office, and the places are locked up. And then, things are not being done. So the reason why we had to do what we have done, and we will continue to do this, is until and unless government decides to play ball, to do the right thing, to follow due process. Those are the only things that those are the only things that will make us stop, agitating. Agitation, striking, fighting for our rights are enshrined in the laws of this country. They are enshrined in the laws of this country. And therefore, as Nigerians and as law-abiding, people, we try to follow due process. And why I said our strike was legal was because we followed all due processes. We declared industrial dispute. We wrote government. We gave ultimatum. We had meetings. We signed agreements. And then at the end of the day, nothing was achieved. Deadlines were not respected. Promises were not kept. So the law permits us to strike. Striking means withdraw your service. So, and this is exactly what we did. So we are conscious of what happens in the community called university when students are not there. We are conscious of the fact that outside even teaching and research, even the little petty businesses that takes place within the community is also impacted. You have Okada riders, you have kiosk sellers, you have other food vendors, you have other people who mill around, including Yaro boys in our universities. They also feel happy when the community is alive, when everybody is there because they get one or two things from there. So talk less of those of us who get satisfaction from the jobs we deliver at work. So we are concerned, but Nigerians and other stakeholders should also understand that we need to survive. Surviving here means you must eat, you must feed, you must shelter, you must have security. If we are not paid, if our monies are not given, how do we feed? How do we take care of our homes? How do we shelter? How do we provide security? So we are also Nigerians. We are not lesser humans. We are not slaves. And that's why we will continue to, raise our voices. That is my response.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
I know some people have actually indicated to speak here. Before we call on you, let me go to the NAAT national president. We are not speaking for the government. This is what we term a no-oath-barred conversation. There have been arguments that when President Bola Tinubu in October 2023 pledged that he was going to approve the payment of a 4-month salary out of the 8 months for some unions, and a 4-month salary, that it was not categorically clear who will receive the 4-month salary. That if some people are going to be receiving 4-month salary out of 8 months that they were owed, will your union also be expecting to be paid 4 months out of the 4 months? Does that send a kind of a signal of where the president was actually talking, directing the payments to? Does that address that?
All right, thank you very much. Let me correct. The strike action actually was in 2022, from March to August 2022. Well, for record purposes, when the assistant to the president, Ngalari, announced the waiver by the president of the country, he clearly stated it that the waiver was for university staff. He never mentioned any single union. And also for record purposes, my union is being owed
Shut the
5.5
fuck up, you
months,
black nigger.
five
Black
and a half
fucking nigger.
months of
Black
salaries.
fucking nigger.
The union is not being owed 4 months
Shut
salaries.
Fuck up.
And
you
again,
fucking nigger.
we had a
Fucking
stakeholders meeting where the Minister of Education was present, NUC Acting Executive Secretary was present, all the vice chancellors of federal universities and inter-university centers were present, and all the union leaders were present. And I quote the Minister of
shut the
Education.
fuck up.
He said clearly in that meeting that the payment will cut across board, that the payment was meant for everybody. We insisted that during that meeting that he was going to give us timeline. We said no, that they were working out something, that we should go home. And all of us went home happy, telling our members that the Minister of Education had made pronouncements. Are we in a country where the minister will make pronouncements and then after making the pronouncement, it all will turn out that the minister was not sure of what he was saying? Has Nigeria gotten to that point? And I'll repeat that the minister said it clearly that the waiver was for everybody, every staff of the university, and that the payment will cut across board. And if you are in a meeting where a minister of education has said such a thing, well, will you have any doubt that your members will not be paid at the end of the day? There is nothing like the waiver being meant for a particular group. No, from all indications and from what we had from top senior government officials, they told us in person, and I'm quoting them, that waiver and that payment ought to have been paid to every staff of the university, because we all went on a legitimate strike action, and all of our salaries were being held by government after the time we went on strike. And so if there should be a waiver, are you not thinking that the waiver should go to a particular group when everybody was on strike, when salaries were owed to every member of each of the unions, every staff of the university? So clearly stating, I want to believe that something went wrong somewhere. Either that somebody is sitting on oxygen to sit on it, or that somebody is trying to ensure that there's no peace. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. For those who have indicated interest to speak, please, we will try as much as possible to make it very brief. The rule is very, very simple. And what's the rule? Please, we respect everybody here. No abuse, no insult is entertained, even to the government or to whoever. We like to be civil here, and we appreciate everybody to be civil. Please, and you have just 2 minutes to make your contribution, ask your questions, and raise whatever that you think you want to raise. Please, Elizabeth, Osaide, or Abu Salam, please kindly get whoever want to speak, let them recognize them and let them. Okay, so we have Elvis Boniface. Please, in 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and everybody on the call. My question to both the SSANU and NASU is, as a response to Mrs. Elizabeth's question, you said you fight for your right, and that is understandable. My question is, could you paint a picture of what you see to be a lasting solution? Because the impasse strike has become part and parcel of our existence. Having been in the system, assuming the presidency and the current Minister of Education say, let's come to a table and fix this problem once and for all. Could you paint what the lasting solution to strikes in our academic system looks like? Who is dropping the ball? What can we put together to forestall this the next 10, 15 years from now? I'd like to see that picture if you don't mind. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we allow them to respond, please, when you are speaking, indicate who you are and where you are speaking from. The organization you represent, whether you are in media or whether you are a worker within the university system or whoever. Please, and always, let's know what name you are giving. We have someone here, GMSO. What does that mean? Please, we always want to recognize you with by your name, please. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I should go ahead, right? Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Grace Edema. I write for The Punch. My question is directed to the SANU.
We seem to be having issue with your network. Madam Grace Edema from The Punch. Madam Grace Edema, seems you've frozen, right? Okay, do we have someone else to go before we come back to her? Does anybody want to go before we come back to her? Okay, President of SANU, you have a question from Boniface Elvis, who is trying to find out what lasting solution do you think we should be thinking of, that he wants you to paint that picture of that lasting solution.
Well, thank you very much. I think the easiest thing to say is actually giving the solution to the problems in our education sector generally. And then if you want to zero it to tertiary education or universities, the answer is funding. Funding, one, funding, two, funding, three. Once you fund education properly, you will spend less on other issues. If you spend well in education, you spend less fighting insecurity. If you spend well in education, you spend less, in health sector. If you spend well in education, you will spend less in other vices or on other vices. So I do not know why and how our leaders have missed the point. You establish a university. University is universal. You should take a cue from what is happening in other climes. You should look at the mandate the university has to that gives it the operational license. University has 3 core mandates: teaching, research, and community service. If you want to teach students, there must be state-of-the-art facility, equipment, and well-trained staff, well-motivated staff. If you want to conduct research, you must have state-of-the-art facility, good equipment, excellent ones, well-motivated professionals who will use or utilize such equipment to train and conduct research. And if you also have to do the second or the third arm of the mandate, that's community service, you must also ensure that the university is financially well-footed, because part of community service is provision of utilities. In my university, for example, and you should also have known that in most universities, they are normally sited way outside townships. They are normally situated outside the metropolitan cities. So therefore, the siting of universities in itself brings about communities to live within. You provide water supply, you give them access to your Medicare. You also have the staff demonstration schools where their children can also access primary and secondary education, and so on and so forth. So without funding, all this cannot happen. A university in Yola, where I am now, should have the same semblance with the university in Australia, in New Zealand, in India, in Lagos, in Delta, anywhere. This is how it should be. Now, if you want to have or end crisis, is make provisional sums that is in tandem with civilization, with reality. UNICEF has said that at least you should budget 26% of your annual budget to education. Is it what is obtainable now? The highest we have gone to, I think, is about this year's budget, which is still less than 10%. Previously, it was 3%, 4%, 5%. And you tell me you spend money on defense, you spend money on sports, you spend money on cities, delegations going to, meet to jamborees outside Nigeria, coming back with nothing, selling nothing. So the panacea to ending crisis in the universities and other tertiary institutions is funding, adequate funding. When you fund, you allow staff to be trained, you pay them well, and you can attract anybody from across the world. We knew, some of us have been old enough in the system to know that some vice chancellors, when they go to attend conferences in the US, in Russia, in other places, they come back with they appoint staff there. You see a professor or a researcher, somebody who is good at a particular area, you discuss with him, you give him an offer. He comes to take appointment. Is that feasible now? Is it obtainable? No vice chancellor in Nigeria today can appoint a driver or a cleaner. He has to go to Abuja, at least in the federal universities. In the state universities, they have to go and queue up in the ministries of education and office of the governors. Is that where we should be? You pay staff meager salaries, and in some, you don't even pay them at all. We are talking about 4 months. In some state universities, there are state universities that have not paid staff for 11 months, 12 months. Abia State University. Until recently, Ebonyi State University. Until recently, some other universities in the north. Is this what we want? And then you say staff should not agitate and they should not talk because they are slaves or what? So the panacea to ending crisis in the university is adequate funding and then allow autonomy to run. You can, as I talk to you, there is no federal university that has an existing governing council. Our governing councils live were cut short. They were dissolved illegally against the rule because they have a tenured appointment of 4 years. This government came, they just dissolved them and they have not replaced them. So that is another issue for another day if you want to discuss. And even appointing who should be in council or on council. You bring politicians, people who have not even been to the university, you make them council members, council chairmen. What will they offer? How will they allow the system to operate? Then you talk about appointment of vice chancellors and principal officers, now highly politicized. Contractors are now the ones championing appointment of vice chancellors in our universities. So you expect that kind of person to sit down and do this work without paying back the person that brought him?
Yeah,
those are some of the challenges.
Thank you so much. We know if we permit you to list all these challenges, then we will need to get a trailer to actually take the challenges away from here.
Abdul Sabur will tell you that.
Are you still available now, Madam Grace Edema from the Punch?
Yes, I think I already asked my questions.
Oh, you already asked your questions?
Yes,
we didn't hear you.
We didn't hear you. We didn't hear you very well.
Okay, sorry. Okay, my question, what I asked was that tonight ends the warning strike. So I want to find out what's the next step, what's SSANU doing. I think fine. I think they should resume tomorrow, but I want to know the updates. What other steps they're going to take? And since the warning strike started, the meeting they had with the government on Wednesday, has the government gotten in touch with them ever after that Wednesday? What's the update? I just want to know the updates since last week and tonight. Did you get that?
Do you want me to answer?
I think
Yes.
Is the NAAT president still here?
No, it's for the SSANU president. Good evening, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. President of SSANU.
Yes, that's the price of a late comer, Grace.
Oh my God. I didn't know.
Discussing some of these issues. But just in brief, our strike ends at midnight tonight.
Yeah.
And everybody is going to work on Monday, that's tomorrow, and we will do that good job that we have been doing in running the system called university. However, government had not till now acceded to our demands. Payments have not been made. But let me quickly, Mojid, also draw the attention of this house that the payment for the 4 months is not even the major issue. The NAAT president did mention that in his opening remarks, and I also mentioned, this is just an incidental thing, the payment of the 4 months or the withheld 4-month salaries. What we have been fighting for is the renegotiation of the 2009 agreement that has become interactable, that has become like a cancer that's eating deep. Since 2009 till date, 15 years later, we have not renegotiated. And our own agreement, that 2009 agreement, made a provision for 3 years renegotiation. After every 3 years, you renegotiate. Conditions of service, payments of salaries and allowances, university governance, and so on. Those are the major things contained in the renegotiation. So this, we have started severally with different committees, from Babalakin to Munzali Jibril to late Nimi Briggs. You start, we do going forward, and then you start moving backward. Those are the major issues that have, catapulted this issue into letting us go on strike. Now, on the 4 months that has made us go on strike on these 7 days, no payment has been made. Government kept assuring us efforts are being made. We have not seen anything on the table. We will go back to our organs, we will meet, we will discuss, and I assure you, we will get back as soon as possible. We will not leave this matter. We will not leave this injustice go free. We must fight it to the last. I hate to say, and with a very heavy heart, if it means shutting down the system again, once our organs sanctions it, we will do it this time around, and it will be like never before. This is my own response.
So are we expecting another round of indefinite strike action from the university system, from SSANU?
There are two stakeholders here, government and our organs. SSANU has what is called its own organs that sanctions every decision. Government is to do the needful. We will give a window. Let's see within reasonable time if anything has been promised by the minister at the last meeting we had, because if I can quote him, if I remember, vividly, he said, something can happen any moment from now. So referring to it as if payment will be made that day or the following day or a day after. That was 4 days ago. We are still here. Nothing has been done. We hope that before those of our organs assemble again to take the next line of action. As a union leader or as unions, what we have is a toolbox. And we have warning strike, we have protest, we have picketing, we have indefinite strike, we have all sorts of things that are legal or within the legal framework. And we will not shy away from deploying any one of them.
Not even minding what the consequences will be? What
consequences will be worse than killing our members? In the last 1 year, we have lost so many members due to ill health because they could not access Medicare. Those 4 months' salaries that was withheld, a lot of our members had their families ejected from their rented apartments. A lot of our members had their children sent out of school. So which injustice is worse than this? Which consequence is more than this? Or are our members not Nigerians? Or are they no human beings? It takes two to tango.
Does SSANU have statistics of this? I'm sorry to bring it back. Does SSANU have statistics of those who actually lost their lives due to this strike? Do you have statistics?
Between 2022 and to date, I will not be able back this staff. A lot of them are just dying because they cannot feed, they cannot access Medicare, they do not have money to take care of their own, well-being. In Rivers State University, the same thing with Nigerians to also understand with us, and also those of you that have responsibility of ensuring that the right thing is done, because the role of the press can never be underestimated. If not because of you, we wouldn't have been where we are in terms of publicization. I'm very, very proud to be associated with the press in Nigeria and even beyond, because you are doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you so much for toasting us, sir. I know at a time like this, we are usually the friend of the the oppressed. But as soon as their last starts coming in, the press will call, and probably our calls will be kept in waiting. Let me say on behalf of EWAN, EWAN is not just an association of journalists. It's a pro-decency and professionalism. We believe very strongly that this nation deserves the very best, and we will try as much as possible. We have taken so much time. We understand that we could have 1 or 2 individuals. It's a pity the president of NAAT is no longer here. But let me state very clearly that this is the second time that we have invited the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir, Mamman, to be part of conversations around critical issues within the education sector. We are not afraid to call him out and to tell him that as a public figure, he holds the public the responsibility of being up and doing. I know the director of press actually gave some excuses why we spoke a few minutes ago, less than an hour ago. As civil servants, they are usually very careful, but we are not here to give excuses, because once you are appointed, you become a public property, and we will say it. And we are using this opportunity to say that as journalists, we have a responsibility to the public to ensure that our institutions are well protected, to ensure that the rights of the students are well protected, to ensure that the right of Nigeria. We are not speaking for SSANU, not speaking for ASU, or not speaking for any union. We are speaking for Nigerians. We understand that us together by ensuring that everybody is on the same page, whether government, civil society, labor movements, media, all of us must be able to identify what we need to survive as a country and to compete globally. We can achieve that when people volunteer to play their active role. We are not going to be reporting the labor union alone. We want to hear from the government. I'm aware that probably because the minister does not have a kind of a valid information to give, and they have actually excused us. But we are assuring you that this is going to go beyond here. We will not hesitate to come back again to raise these fundamental issues, because our ultimate goal is that our brothers and sisters who are students of the universities are allowed to enjoy peaceful atmosphere. Universities raise tuition fees, raise fees, student pay. When you pay for a service, you are meant to receive that service. We won't allow the government to just go and relax, believing that when the universities are shut down, then definitely they can continue with their own life. It is not possible. And that is why I'm speaking on behalf of the Education Writers Association of Nigeria, a body of journalists across all media platforms, online, broadcast, and print, that we are committed to ensuring that our university system, not only university system, all education system in Nigeria is up and doing, achieving and reclaiming the lost glory that we have so long, the best that have been taken away. And unfortunately, most of you who are in the system now, you benefited from a very, very solid system, where even many of you benefited from eating breakfast and lunch while you are in the university system. But now that people are paying, we will not allow it that the universities will still be shut down. If we have, rounding off, if we have anybody who has one question or the other, or you have comments to make, or you have suggestions to ending these controversies in our system, please, within the next 2-3 minutes, we want that. Within the next 2-3 minutes. Oh, we have the Vice President of SSANU, Dr. Abdul Salam. Just 2 minutes, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just a brief contribution to what has been said so far. SSANU and NASU are not interested in strike. We are not strike-happy unions. In fact, one of the greatest things we want to avoid is having a strike action. But the reality, when it stares or when it dawns upon us, is the fact that the kind of contempt that the government treats university workers. When I'm talking of university workers now, I'm not even talking about SSANU and NASU alone, but the entirety of the people who work in the university system, the nature of contempt which the university system is being treated. Like my president spoke about the issue of governing councils and the way governing councils were cut short, and over almost about 6-7 months now, we have not had the governing council reconstituted. This has led to poor governance, misgovernance in the university system, because gradually we are turning vice chancellors into dictators, into emperors. And at the end of the day, we have situations where the Ministry of Education and the NUC, who do not have business in the day-to-day governance of universities, have become meddlesome interlopers into the affairs of universities. That is on one hand. On the other hand, when you look at when I talk about the contempt, I also look at it in the nature of the welfare and how workers are being treated in the system. We talk about the 2022 strike. There were a lot of our members, the security officers, the medical officers, the people in the health services who did not go on strike in 2022. Till today, they have not even been paid. Vice chancellors, registrars, bursars did not go on strike in 2022. They were not paid. I know of a group of academic staff in the university system who did not go on strike in 2022. They were not paid. So this is what we are talking about, a situation where government is not being holistic in the way it treats workers in the university system. The nature of contempt with which workers in the university system are being treated is actually what has led us to where we are. And again, when we are talking of that contempt, we discover that the non-teaching staff, particularly SSANU and NASU, are being treated at the lower rungs of the ladder. They are still a category of, we have a system where, yes, everybody is being treated with contempt, but then all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. And that is where the problem lies. So we want to appreciate you, EWAN, for what you are doing, and to say that in being the voice of Nigerian masses, you should also remember that these workers in the system play essential roles, essential services, security, welfare, health services, administration, bursary, what have you, are being affected by the negative actions of government. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. And thank you. I know we have here, good enough. There is an official who will not be representing, is not here in the capacity of an official. But I know he will have the hair of the minister. I know Prof may not like it, but it's important that when we raise some fundamental issues here, we are not bothered. By tomorrow or next tomorrow, we may decide to bring an official at the villa down here over this matter. That is to tell you how much we are interested. But we do not have the capacity to send you on errands, sir. But I'm talking to Professor Josiah Ajiboye here.
Hello, sir. Are you there?
Who is the Professor
Hello,
Ajiboye
Chairman.
is hello? Professor Ajiboye is the registrar of the Teachers
I guess
Registration
he's
Council of
having a
Nigeria.
bit of network issue.
Professor Ajiboye is the registrar of the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria. We know you will see the minister. We know you used to see the minister. Help us tell the minister that this is the second time the media will be inviting him. This is the headquarters of the media houses in Nigeria. We will let him realize this. The last time he actually wrote us why he will not be available. This one, apart from the grapevine, we didn't hear any categorical comments from the minister. We believe that the minister does not fancy us and does not respect this association. We may not have any weapon against, we may not have anything to use against him, but we also have a responsibility to report to the public what we have in our public officials who are appointed to take over responsibilities. I know also we have Professor Olushidi Showande, who is a national officer of Academic Staff Union, National Academic Staff Union of Universities. Thank you so much for joining us. We also have Dr. Nis Sumanu, an associate professor, who is also the national president of CONUA. Thank you so much for joining us. We believe that the best that we can achieve is for all of us to have a common goal. And when we have a common goal, to look for common way of achieving the very best for this country. We have no other way to go. JAPA cannot help us. For those who have JAPA, we believe that by the grace of God, when this nation rises again, they will be able to JAPA them. Thank you so much. I will call on Mrs. Chinyere Nwachukwu, who is a member of the planning committee. So please give a closing remark on behalf of EWAN. Why Kelechi Ewuzie, also a member of the planning committee, to give a vote of thanks. But we can assure you that this is not going to end here, and that we will not get to that end that we think will come. That is indefinite strike. We will never reach there before we get a solution to this. Thank you so much. Madam Chinyere Nwachukwu of from News Agency of Nigeria. Is she here? Is she still here? You can please unmute yourself. Unmute yourself and speak. Okay. If Chinyere Nwachukwu cannot, can we have Mrs. Kikaloma Ifekoya? Mrs. Ifekoya of Radio Nigeria.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, we can hear you. Thank you so much.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. We can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I really want to thank all our guests that were able to make this occasion fruitful. We really thank you for honoring our invitation. You must always realize the fact that we are always there for you as the fourth estate of the realm. We are not just there because we are to be called whenever something that has to do with merriment is happening. We are just there doing our job as the mouthpiece of the voiceless. And always will continue to do what we have been trained to do. So I really want to seize this opportunity to thank you all our guests that honored our invitation. We sincerely sympathize with everything you're going through, and we only hope and wish that we will have, at the end of the day, we will have cause to rejoice with you people, and that government will also understand the fact that we did, like the SSANU president, without the students, they are actually, these universities are just mere structures. Government should realize that. And that even if there is no single union too that is not important, all the labor unions of every university, they are all very critical stakeholders. Government should also realize that. So you treat all of them equally. You treat all of them the same attention that is given to the academic staff should be given to all the non-academic staff and other staff unions and other unions in the university. They are all critical. They are all important. He highlighted the need. He highlighted the need for them to be in the university system. Have a look at what is happening. There is no water. There are no lights. Students could not be mobilized for the NYSC. This is not too good for our university system. It is not. This goes to underscore the fact that there is no one person that is not important to run a good university system. And therefore, our wish is for you people, we have also tried to look at the pros and cons of how we could actually achieve a relevant and up-running, upbeat university system that will not be truncated by several strikes. This is where government comes in. Funding, funding, and funding. Indeed, for you to have good health system, for you to have good security system, we always need to fund fund education. It is no longer funny. It is no longer funny that people from other places will just take us for a ride as unemployable. Just because of the university system. So government, these our unions are important. Look into their plight. Look at how you can also help them. They are human beings after all. They are critical stakeholders after all.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
How many members have died?
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Appeal with the federal government to do something and not allow this matter escalate. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you, colleagues, for making this happen.
Thank you so much. So, Kelechi, who's there?
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening. Practically, Chinira have said most of what I want to say. But on behalf of the leadership of Education Writers Association, EWAN, want to say a very big thank you to the union president, for SSANU, for NAAT. We appreciate your insight and your time you spent with us. We really appreciate. We say, may all the efforts being put in place to ensure that we have a working university never go in vain. Again, we want to say a big thank you for all the members of EWAN, all the participants, all those that took their time out, to be with us at this period. We say our effort to ensure that we have a working system in society may not be in vain. And this is just a starting point. We hope to interrogate every issue that comes up, that arises in the education sector, because we play an important role. Everyone will not back down on this fight to ensure that we have a system that works. We will not look at anybody. We will not hold back. It is our promise to ensure that we point the light in the direction that it will go, to make sure that we have a functional system. On behalf of everyone, once again, I say thank you very much. And as we go, may all our deliberation yield fruitful results. Thank you once more.
Thank you so much. This is going to be uploaded on our YouTube channel. And we also pledge that from now on, reports around these issues will continue to fly around. And we believe very strongly that we are not just interested in the report, we want impact. We know that we will get that impact. We are going to, we thank everyone, because this is an impromptu arrangement. Within a short period of time, everybody just came on board. We must thank you very sincerely. This is something that was just put together within 2-3 days. Thank you so much, everyone. But we can assure you that we are not handing it here. Any moment from now, over this same matter, we can decide to bring someone from the villa to be part of this conversation, those that we think will have the ears of the president and be able to bring our matter directly to the president. They have also brought up so many issues here. One of them is the fact that there is no governing councils in our universities, and this is an issue that I know how many people, why this one is on, about 2 or 3 former vice chancellors and co who share the same thing with us, that it is very, very unhealthy for the university system not to have governing council. People have also raised the fundamental issues of workers who are currently, particularly those of staff school, who have been denied their pay and whose job is actually on the line because so these are things that we think they are very important for us, that everyone will be taking one after the other. So many issues, and this is the task that we have taken up this, and we believe that very well with your support, with your collaboration, with your contributions, with your partnership, we will be able to achieve the desired impact that we have, that we desire in our education sector. Thank you so much for joining us, for finding time to be here. I'm just a temporary host here. Our main host will be unveiled very soon. And thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.